Algebra 2, I'm going to make a review video to get you ready for your test. So the first couple are addition and subtraction problems. So when you have an addition and subtraction problem, you have to have a common denominator. So when I compare, number one, when I compare these two denominators, they each have an x minus 4. However, the one on the right has an extra 3. So therefore, I'm going to have to multiply the top and bottom of this first fraction by 3. So now they have the same denominator. So now I'm allowed to add them together. So I'm going to have to distribute the 3 to clear parentheses. So we got 3x squared minus 75. So this plus sign means that all these signs stay the same. So that is still a negative x squared, a positive 2x, and a positive 33, all over 3 times x minus 4. I'm going to combine like terms and put it in standard form. So the x squared term comes first. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that right, my bad. Okay, so I have to add negative x squared and 3x squared, which adds up to 2x squared. My x's come next, and I don't have any like terms. And then I have to figure out what that adds up to. Negative 75 plus 33 is negative 42. Over 3 times x minus 4. Number 2, I already have the same common denominator, but you have a subtraction sign right here. And you have 2 terms to the right of it. So I'm going to rewrite this as w squared minus 3 minus parenthesis 2w minus 5. Because what happens when you have a subtraction sign, subtraction and negatives are the same thing. You're going to have to distribute the negative to clear your parentheses, and that's going to change both those signs. So I have w squared minus 3 minus 2w plus 5 over 2w plus 7. I'm going to combine like terms and put it in standard form. So the w squared comes first. Negative 2w comes next. Negative 3 plus 5 adds up to 2. And that looks like a good final answer on that one. Three and 4, let's see. Number 3, when I look at this denominator, I have a trinomial, and this one is not a trinomial. So anytime you have a trinomial, you want to factor it. So I'm going to make an ACB chart. I need factors of negative 10 that add up to 3. So I know I'm using 5 and 2, and the 2 is going to have to be negative. So this factors as x plus 5 and x minus 2. So I need a common denominator. So the one on the left, I can tell that this is going to be my common denominator. So your denominators have to have one of everything. So this, all denominators are going to have both an x plus 5 and an x minus 2. So this one only has the x minus 2. It's missing the x plus 5 portion of your common denominator. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by that. So I have x squared plus 3x minus 2 plus 3x times x plus 5 over x plus 5, x minus 2. So since I got a common denominator over here, that's why I just put it all over 1. Since I was multiplying it by 2 terms, I'm going to have to distribute here. So that gets me an x squared plus 3x minus 2 plus 3x squared, and then 3x times 5 is 15x over x plus 5, x minus 2. I'm going to get a common denominator with my x squared, so they add up to 4x squared. 3 and 15 adds up to 18x. I don't have any constants, so I'm just going to write it down. Over x plus 5, x minus 2. Number 4, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to factor that, and as a general rule of thumb, most of the other factors are part of the one that you have to factor. So that starts with a 2, so I know that you're going to have divide and slide on that one. You have to be careful of that subtraction sign, because here you had to distribute a positive 3x. There, if you add the opposite, that negative is going to travel right next to the 3. You're going to be distributing a negative 3. All right, number 5 is just another factor and get a common denominator. We haven't had one like 6 yet. All right, so when I see a 4 and a 12, if you count up by 4s and 12s, the first number that they have in common is 12. So it seems like these are one of the more challenging ones for students. So the common denominator for the number part is 12. Now for the variables, the variable has to be the biggest exponent. So for the x's, that is a 2, and then I have a y. So that's going to be my common denominator. So this first one, I have a 4, I need a 12, so I'm missing a 3, so I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 3. It's fine on the x squareds. It's missing the y part, so I'm really multiplying the top and bottom by 3y. For this fraction, I have the 12, I have the y, I'm missing the x squared. So that's what I'm multiplying the top and bottom of that fraction by. So when you multiply straight across, 3 times 6 is 18. Y times y is y squared. Bring down the plus. There's no numbers there, so that's just 2. When you multiply variables, you add your exponents. Your common denominator. I saw people make this mistake on the quiz. These are not like terms, so please do not combine them. That is your good final answer there. The back side is solving equations. So you have to think about what the common denominator would be, and then that's what I'm going to multiply by to clear out all my denominators. So for this first one, I noticed that they each have an x, so this is a GCF kind of problem. So I'm going to factor an x out, and when I do that, I get x minus 1. So what would be the common denominator? The common denominator would be x minus 1. So that is what you're going to multiply both sides of your equation by. What would it be? And when you do that, you have to distribute it to every single term. So I have 18 times x minus 1 over x minus 1 equals 9x minus 1 over x minus 1. And now you want to go canceling. So I see the x's common to the top and bottom, the x minus 1's common, and then on the other fraction I have the x minus 1's common. So all that's left is 18 on the left and 9x on the right. So now I just have an algebra problem. I'm going to divide both sides by 9 and get 2 equals x. All right, so the next one, that 5 is implied to be over 1. So you want to multiply by what would be the common denominator. So all you have is an x plus 4 in each of those. So I'm going to multiply every single term by x plus 4. You're going to distribute it to all 3 terms there. So in the first one, I have negative 12 times x plus 4 minus all over x plus 4 minus 3x times x plus 4 over x plus 4 equals 5 times x plus 4. Now go canceling. So the x plus 4's cancel, the x plus 4's cancel, nothing to cancel here. So from this first one, you just have a negative 12 left. From the second one, you have the negative 3x left, equals. I'm going to go ahead and distribute to clear parentheses, 5x plus 20. Now do algebra and solve for x. So I would add 3x to both sides, subtract your 20 over. This adds up to negative 32. That adds up to 8x. Divide both sides by 8. And you get x equals negative 4 for a good answer there. Number 10. It is compare these denominators and what would be your common denominator. That's what you're going to multiply by that will cancel out all of your denominators there. All right, so when you look at your plain old numbers, I have a 3 and a 12. So 12 is your number that would be your common denominator there. And when you have an expression with both a variable and a number, if you have a plus and a minus sign, that is completely unrelated to your regular number, so it's just the x minus 5. I'm going to distribute that to all terms. And I'm really going to find a pen that works, I swear. All right, so I have 12 times x minus 5 over 3 minus 3 times 12 times x minus 5 over x minus 5 equals 19 times 12 times x minus 5 over 12. Now I'm going to reduce or cancel out my numerators and denominators from each section. So that first fraction reduces. The second fraction you're going to reduce, and that one right there. So here, 3 goes into 12 4 times, so that's the only thing I'm going to reduce there. In the second one, it's the x minus 5 that cancels, and in the third one, it's the 12 that cancels. All right, so for the first one, I have a couple different steps to do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 7 times 4. And then I still have that x minus 5 I'm going to distribute in a minute. Here, all I have is 3 times 12. Bring down your subtraction sign, so you have a minus 36. And on the right side, I still have the 19 and the x minus 5. So I'm going to distribute to clear parentheses. I get 28x. 28 times 5 is 140. Bring down your negative 36. Now distribute your 19 and get 19x. 19 times 5 is 95. I'm going to combine like terms with these numbers. 40 and 36. So now I have 28x minus 176 equals 19x minus 95. I'm going to move my letters over, so I'm going to subtract 19x and add 176. 28 minus 19 equals 9. And negative 95 and 176 equals 81. Divide and get x equals 9. And then Which other one should I do? May as well just do, I'm going to do 12. That'll give me some room. No, I'm not. I'm doing 11 because it's a subtraction problem. All right, so x plus 5 can't be factored. X minus 3 can't be factored. I see an x squared, and it's a trinomial, so that can be factored. I need factors of negative 15 that add up to 2. So I know I'm going to play with 3 and 5, and the 3 is going to be my negative 1. So this factors as x minus 3, x plus 5. So you should kind of be aware that the trend that seems to be happening is the one that you have to factor is usually made up of the other two. So that would be my common denominator if I had to get one. So that's what I'm going to multiply by. X minus 3, x plus 5. So I'm going to distribute that to all three terms. 6 times x minus 3, x plus 5 over x plus 5. Minus 3, x minus 3, x plus 5 over x minus 3 equals 6, x minus 3, x plus 5 over x minus 3, x plus 5. And now I'm going to see what is common to the top and bottom and go canceling. So my x plus 5s are gone, my x minus 3s are gone, and in the last one, it cancels out two things. All right, so for the first one, I have 6 times x minus 3 left. In the second one, I have negative 3 times x plus 5 left, and that equals 6. So now I just have an algebra problem where I have to distribute combine like terms, and I think we would call that a multi-step problem. So I'm going to distribute, and I would get 6x minus 18. Distribute and get negative 3x minus 15 equals 6. I'm going to combine like terms with my variables, and that adds to 3x. Combine like terms with my numbers. Hold on, I need my calculator. And that adds up to negative 33. I need to solve for x, so I'm going to add 33 to both sides. That adds up to 39. Divide both sides by 3 and get x equals 13. And that is a 17-minute video. This is the only maybe tricky one for you. I can tell you that that right there has a GCF that you should factor out, but check the notes at the end for any additional help.